How are you guys doing? Today is Sunday, March 7th, 2021, out here in this quarantine. I'm James Sims, and for this episode of The Elite, I'm going to walk you through the elite performances from yesterday, Saturday, March 6th, and of course, I'm going to review everything that's going on today as we navigate through the world of sports one day at a time. So, with the NBA season currently on the All-Star break, the only NBA game today will be the All-Star game that'll be played in Atlanta. It'll be Team Durant hosting Team LeBron, and of course, these teams are already hand-selected, and we'll get to see what's going on. And once this game is finished, I'll go over what happened in it tomorrow. Without further ado, I'm going to jump to college basketball, because the MLB season's at spring training and the NFL season hasn't started up yet. And in college basketball, I'm just going to go down the list of just the teams that played in order of their ranking. So first, fourth-ranked Illinois went to Ohio State, and the Fighting Illini were able to beat the Ohio State Buckeyes 73-68 behind Andre Curbello's 19 points, 5 rebounds, and 6 assists. With this win, fourth-ranked Illinois is 20-6 as they are 16-4 in the Big Ten. With this loss, seventh-ranked Ohio State is 18-8 as they are 12-8 in the Big Ten. Sixth-ranked West Virginia hosted 17th-ranked Oklahoma State, and Oklahoma State was able to pull off the 85-80 win after outscoring West Virginia by 10 in the second half. With this win, 17th-ranked Oklahoma is 18-7 as they are 11-7 in the Big 12, and with this loss, 6th-ranked West Virginia is 18-8 as they are 11-6 in the Big 12. 8th-ranked Alabama went to UGA to face off against the Bulldogs, and in this game, the Crimson Tide were able to pull off an 89-79 win after outscoring unranked Georgia by 16 points in the second half, behind Javon Quinterly's 18 points. With this win, 8th-ranked Alabama is 21-6 as they are 16-2 in the SEC. With this loss, unranked Georgia is 14-11 as they are 7-11 in the SEC. Unranked Providence hosted 10th-ranked Villanova yesterday, and Providence was able to pull off the 54-52 win, upset over a top 10 team after outscoring Villanova by 17 points in the first half, behind their center Nate Watson's 20 points. With this win, unranked Providence is now 13-12 as they are 9-10 in the Big East, and with this loss, 10th-ranked Villanova is 16-5 as they are 11-4 in the Big East. Unranked Notre Dame hosted 11th-ranked Florida State, and in this game, the Fighting Irish were able to beat the Seminoles 83-73 after outscoring Florida State by 16 points in the first half behind Prentice Hubb's 22 points and 5 assists. With this win, unranked Notre Dame is 10-14 as they are 7-11 in the ACC, and with this loss, 11th-ranked Florida State is 15-5 as they are 11-4 in the ACC. 12th-ranked Arkansas hosted unranked Texas A&M, and in this game, the Razorbacks were able to pull up a 7-point win, beating Texas A&M 87-80 after outscoring the Aggies by 10 points in the second half. Their leading scorer would be Moses Moody, their guard, who finished with 28 points and 5 rebounds. With this win, 12th-ranked Arkansas is 21-5 as they are 13-4. With this loss, unranked Texas A&M is 8-9 as they are 2-8 in the SEC. Also, 14th-ranked Creighton hosted unranked Butler as Marcus Zagorowski would score 32 points to help Creighton pull off a 20-point win, beating Butler 93-73. With this win, 14th-ranked Creighton is 18-7 as they are 14-6 in the Big East. And with this loss, unranked Butler is 9-12 as they're 8-12 in the Big East. 20th ranked Loyola Chicago hosted unranked Indiana State, and the Ramblers were able to pull off a 65-49 win in their NBC tournament semifinal. Cameron Crutwig would lead the way in scoring for Loyola Chicago as he finished with 18 points and 11 rebounds. With this win, 20th ranked Loyola Chicago is now officially 20-3 They're 23-4 on the season as they are 16-12 in the NBC. And with this loss, Indiana State is 15-10 as they are 11-7 in the NBC. Also, unranked Louisville hosted 21st ranked Virginia, and in this game, the Hokies would beat the Cardinals 68-58 behind Sam Hauser's 24 points and 8 rebounds. With this win, 21st ranked Virginia is 17-6 as they are 13-4 in the ACC. With this loss, unranked Louisville is 13-6 as they drop to 8-5 in the ACC. And last but not least, 23rd ranked Purdue hosted unranked Indiana, and the Boilermakers were able to beat the Hoosiers 67-58 after outscoring Indiana by 9 points in the first half. Zach Edey would lead the way for Purdue as he finished with 20 points and 9 rebounds. With this win, 23rd ranked Purdue is 18-8 as they are 13-6 in the Big Ten. With this loss, unranked Indiana is 12-14 as they are 7-12 in the Big Ten. And last but not least, in what could be the last Duke-UNC game of at least my college experience, North Carolina hosted and beat Duke. Both teams were unranked, and in this game, Caleb Love would end up being the leading scorer for North Carolina as he dropped 18 points and 7 assists. And they were also able to outscore Duke by 16 points in the first half. I think that's the biggest deficit in quite a long time for UNC. With this win, unranked North Carolina is now 16-9 as they are 10-6 in the ACC, and with this loss, unranked Duke is 11-11 as they are 9-9 in the ACC. Looking out to what's going on for tomorrow in college, or looking out to what's going on today. In college basketball, it'll pretty much be the teams that are playing within their own conferences finishing out the season. At noon, 9th-ranked Houston will host unranked Memphis on CBS. At 12:30, 5th-ranked Iowa will host 25th-ranked Wisconsin on Fox. In the NBC final, 20th-ranked Loyola Chicago will host unranked Drake at 2:10 on CBS. At 4 o'clock, 3rd-ranked Baylor will host 18th-ranked Texas Tech on ESPN. At 4:30, unranked Michigan State will host 2nd-ranked Michigan on CBS. And at 7 o'clock, unranked TCU will host 15th-ranked Texas on the Big 12 network. That's everything that's going on within college basketball. Taking a quick jump to see what's going on with hockey, staying within the arena field, but of course jumping onto the ice. And of course, within the NHL, they have to play within the same division. So starting off in Canada, the Montreal Canadiens were able to beat the Winnipeg Jets 7-1 after 4 of their goals came in the second period. Their right winger Gallagher would finish with 2 goals and an assist. Their left winger Tatar would finish with 3 assists of his own. And after picking up their 11th win of the season, the Montreal Canadiens now sit with the 4th best record in the North Division as they trail the first place Toronto Maple Leafs by 10 total points. Speaking of the Maple Leafs went out to Vancouver, and Vancouver was able to pull a 4-2 win after scoring 3 goals in the third period to come back from being down 2-1. The right winger Besser would finish with a goal and 2 assists, and their center JT Miller would finish with a goal and 2 assists as well. After picking up their 11th win of the season, they now sit tied for the 5th best record in the division as they and the Flames both sit 14 games behind the first place Toronto Maple Leafs. Continuing on north of the border, the Edmonton Oilers hosted the Calgary Flames, and in this one the Oilers would beat the Flames 3-2. Their center Connor McDavid continues to lead all of NHL in scoring as he now has a goal and 2 more assists to his name. And with their 15th win of the season, the Edmonton Oilers are now sitting 2nd in the North Division as they trail the first place Toronto Maple Leafs by 7 points in the table. Jumping out to the East, the New Jersey Devils hosted the New York Rangers. In this matchup, the Rangers would beat the Devils 6-3 as 3 of their goals came in the first period. And picking up their 10th win of the season, the New York Rangers are now currently holding the 6th best record, or the 6th best standing in the East Division, as they trail the first place New York Islanders by 9 points. Speaking of the Islanders hosted and were able to defeat the Buffalo Sabres 5-2 after scoring 4 of their goals in the second period. With their 14th win of the season and their 4th win in a row, the New York Islanders are now sitting on top of the East Division by 2 points over the second place Washington Capitals at the very moment. Jumping out to the state of Pennsylvania, the Pittsburgh Penguins hosted the Philadelphia Flyers, and the Penguins were able to come out on top with a 4-3 win after scoring 2 of their goals in the first period. Their center, Evgeny Malkin, would finish with a goal and an assist, and with their 13th win of the season, the Pittsburgh Penguins are now they're tied with the Philadelphia Flyers for the 5th best standing in the East Division. Both of these teams are now sitting 5 points behind the first place Islanders. And that's everything that's going on within the East Division. Jumping out to the Central, the Florida Panthers went to Nashville and were able to beat the Predators 6-2. Their center, Acciari, would finish with 3 goals, and of course he had a hat trick. That's what a hat trick is. And after picking up their 14th win of the season and their 2nd win in a row, the Florida Panthers are now tied with the Tampa Bay Lightning at the top of the Central Division with 34 points. They both sit 1 point over the Carolina Hurricanes in the division. And then jumping out to Dallas. The Dallas Stars hosted the Columbus Blue Jackets, and after completely blanking the Jackets 5-0, the Stars now have 7 wins on the season. With this win, they now sit second from the bottom in the Central Division as they trail the first place Lightning and Florida Panthers by a total of about 16 points in the table. And then looking out to what's going on out west to finish off the night, the Arizona Coyotes hosted the Minnesota Wild. In this matchup, the Coyotes would beat the Wild 5-2 after trailing 2-0 at the end of the first period. With their 11th win on the season, the Arizona Coyotes are now currently holding on to, or they're tied with their Kings, holding the 5th best standing in the West Division, as both of these teams are now 8 points behind the first place Golden Knights. Jumping out to Denver, the Colorado Avalanche hosted the Anaheim Ducks, and after an overtime goal from Anaheim, the Ducks would pull off their 7th win of the season, beating the Avalanche 5-4. With this win, the Anaheim Ducks are now sitting second from the bottom of the West Division as they trail the first place Las Vegas Golden Knights by 13 total points in the table. Jumping out to Los Angeles, to Staples Center, the Los Angeles Kings were able to host and defeat the St. Louis Blues behind their center Anze Kopitar's 2 goals and 1 assist. And after winning in overtime and picking up their 10th win of the season, the Los Angeles Kings are now tied with the Coyotes for the 5th best standing in the West Division, as both of these teams currently trail the first place Golden Knights by 8 points in the table. And last but not least, speaking of the Golden Knights were able to go into San Jose and pull off their 4th win of the season. The right winger had 2 goals. Their goalie, Marc-Andre Fleury, would finish with 24 saves, none of them getting past him. And with their 16th win of the season, the Las Vegas Golden Knights are now sitting at the top of the West Division as they are now 2 points over the St. Louis Blues with this win. And at the same time, they've also played 4 less games in the second place Blues as the Golden Knights have won their 6th straight game. And they're holding the best streak in the NHL at the very moment. And then looking forward to what's going on today with hockey, or at least going through the primetime matchups. At noon, the New York Islanders are going to host the Buffalo Sabres on NBC. At 2:30, the Chicago Blackhawks are going to host the Tampa Bay Lightning, on NBC Sports Network. The defending champs, Tampa Bay Lightning. And then at 7:30, the Pittsburgh Penguins will host the New York Rangers on NBC Sports Network. That's everything you really got to look out for in hockey. And last but not least, I'm going to take you through the world of soccer because, of course, there were some big developments and a lot of you can see where a lot of the standings or a lot of the leagues stand following yesterday's outings. Starting in the Premier League, Leicester City was able to be Brighton and Hove to keep their second, or they were able to jump past Manchester United to momentarily take second place in the Premier League. Right now, they're sitting 12 points behind Manchester City with 1 less game played, and they also sit 2 points ahead of Manchester United with 1 more game played, so that puts pressure on Manchester United to win their next game. Looking out to what's going on in the Bundesliga, it was another installment of Der Klassiker, this time in Bayern Munich, as Bayern Munich hosted Borussia Dortmund. Borussia Dortmund would get the first 2 goals of the game as their elite Norwegian striker Erling Braut Haaland would score 2 goals in the first 10 minutes of the game. And then for Bayern, their first 2 goals in the first half, their 2 goals in the first half would come from their elite Polish striker Robert Lewandowski. In the second half, it would be until the 88th minute until the goal from their midfielder Leon Goretzka would put Bayern up 3-2, and then Robert Lewandowski's 90th minute goal, his hat trick, would eventually be what sealed the game for Bayern Munich. So of course, that's scoring a hat trick in Der Klassiker, amazing game for Robert Lewandowski, and with this win, Bayern Munich is now currently sitting on top of the Bundesliga, as they currently still sit 2 points ahead of second place RB Leipzig for the top of the table. And then Borussia Dortmund is now sitting in 6th in the Bundesliga as they now trail 5th place Bayer Leverkusen by a point. And they now sit 5 points ahead of 7th place Union Berlin. Right now they're sitting pretty comfortably in a Europa League spot with 10 more games left to play in the season. So of course they got to compete. They're 4 points out of a Champions League spot. Just looking at what's going on in the rest of the world, Juventus hosted Lazio and were able to pull a 3-1 win as they had 2 second half goals from Alvaro Morata, one of them as a penalty. And with this win for Juventus over Napoli, they now currently sit 3rd in Serie A. They currently sit 1 point behind second place AC Milan, so that's that's who they're keeping their eye on next. And AC Milan held the lead in Serie A for a bit. And Juventus also sits 3 points ahead of fourth place Atalanta. So of course the pressure was on them to win, and that was a very big win that they were able to pull off. Jumping to La Liga, Osasuna hosted Barcelona, and in this game, Barcelona will pull off a 2-0 win, as their goals from Alba and their first goal ever from Moriba in the 83rd minute would give Barcelona the 2 points in the game, and of course the 3 points in the table. With this win, Barcelona is temporarily sitting second in La Liga. They currently trail first place Atletico Madrid by 2 points in the table, even though they've played 2 more games than Atletico Madrid, but they also sit 3 points ahead of Real Madrid, and they've played 1 more game than Real, so they put the pressure on Real Madrid to win their next game. So big win for Barcelona. And then jumping to the Paris or the France the Coupe de France, Brest hosted PSG, and after putting up yet another amazing brace, after another amazing brace from their elite French forward Kylian Mbappe, PSG would score 3 goals, and they would be able to advance past Brest to the next round of the tournament. Looking forward to what's going on today, starting in the Premier League at 9 o'clock, Liverpool will host Fulham. Liverpool currently, the reigning Premier League champs, are now sitting 7th in the table. They now trail 6th place West Ham United by 2 points in the table, as they sit 1 point ahead of Tottenham with 1 more game played than Tottenham. This game very well could momentarily jump them up into 5th place at the very best. So that's where there's a lot of pressure on them to win, and they are facing off against Fulham. Fulham is the 3rd worst team in the Bundesliga record-wise, so the pressure is on Liverpool to win this game if they want to try to at least at least jump back into Europa League contention this week. Also, Manchester City will host Manchester United, as Manchester United look to be the very first team to give Manchester City their first loss of the 2021 calendar year. This matchup will be will be at Manchester City. They will be hosting. Right now, Manchester City is sitting on top of the Premier League. They are 12 points ahead of Leicester City with 1 less game played. So, of course, a win or a draw here could create even more separation between them and the rest of the table. For Manchester United, they currently sit 2 points behind Leicester City with 1 less game played. So a win here could put them back in front for the table's sake. And they also sit 4 points ahead of Chelsea, so that puts some more incentive on Manchester United to win this than Manchester City. And then at 2:15, Tottenham Hotspur will host Crystal Palace at 2:15. Tottenham Hotspur is currently sitting 8th in the table, as they are currently trailing Liverpool by a point in the table with 1 less game played. A win here could temporarily put them in 6th place. Just depending on how West Ham United plays. And they also sit 2 points ahead of 9th place Aston Villa. So this game will be a pretty big win for them if they were able to pull it off, even though Crystal Palace is now sitting 13th in the Premier League at the moment. Looking out into Italian Serie A, Hellas Verona will host AC Milan. AC Milan is still holding on ever so slightly to that 1 point lead in Italian Serie A. And with a win here, they very well could see themselves creating a little bit of separation from Juventus and putting the pressure on Juventus to win their game. In La Liga at 10:15, Atletico Madrid will host Real Madrid in the second installment of the Madrid Derby. And in this matchup, it's just a matchup between Atletico Madrid, the top team in Spain, and Real Madrid, the 3rd best team in Spain. Atletico Madrid is currently sitting at the top. They are 2 points ahead of second place FC Barcelona with 2 less games played than Barcelona. So a win here could create separation for them. And then even if they don't win, they still have another game of separation between them and Barcelona. For Real Madrid, this is more of a must-win. They are sitting 3 points behind second place FC Barcelona in the table. A win here would temporarily put them on par with Barcelona, even though Barcelona owns them in goal differential. And then Real Madrid also sits 5 points ahead of Sevilla at the moment. So, I mean, that's where they're sitting. They're sitting pretty comfortably within a Champions League spot, but I imagine they have La Liga championship aspirations. So that'll be a very big game for them at 10:15. And those are going to be the big games to look out for today. And of course, there was a big night of fighting, but I will start covering fighting as we transition into the later portion, probably on a later installment. But with that said, I want to thank everyone for listening to all 20 minutes of this piece. I hope all is well, and I will get back to you tomorrow on Monday, March 8th, 2021, once all these exhibitions, once all of today's exhibitions have been finished. And with that said, I want to thank everyone once again for listening to all 20 minutes of my piece. I hope all is well, and I will catch you tomorrow with another episode. Thanks once again, and peace out.